It's the Film Fan Club Show Academy Awards Special with your hosts, Sam Carrico, Ricky Salcedo, special appearances by John Leon, Cornelius Hawker, and Peyton Grufik. Featuring biting political commentary.
What other big failures of the Obama presidency stand out to you?
A special interview with the cast of Minari.
I was in Minari, so okay.
And breakdown of all the awards. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Film Fan Club Show. I'm your host, Sam Carrico, and today I'm joined by Ricky Salcedo for the whole show. Welcome, Ricky.
What's up?
And it finally happened. The Academy Awards, there were some surprises. It was really different. We got to go to the Circle Cinema. Give a little wave. Yeah.
It was good to see local Tulsans coming to the Circle. I feel like a lot of them, it's their first time coming out since the whole COVID thing started. The whole pandemic started. You know,
that small thing that kind of interrupted the whole world there for a second. We were talking a lot about we got to talk to a lot of the people actually at the Circle. I think that was a lot of fun. They were also talking about a lot of their predictions.
I think Nomadland's going to take it home tonight. It's gotten a lot of buzz.
Torn between Minari and The Father. What will win? Fingers crossed for The Father, but it's probably going to be Nomadland.
I had not heard too much about other films besides like Judas and the Black Messiah and Sound of Metal, which is actually the only film that I watched, which I actually believe should have won in every category it was nominated in. And if it wasn't nominated in other categories, then it should have been. But yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah, besides Sound of Metal, of course, was the one I heard the most about.
Is there a little bit of cognitive dissonance that goes on there with a movie like Nomadland features Amazon subject matter? Then a movie like Sound of Metal is also nominated, but it's an Amazon Prime movie. The same people that nominated Nomadland must have seen that parallel, right?
I mean, there's always that kind of dissonance, I think, within Hollywood. Because, I mean, these are, in a lot of cases, the elite making these movies about kind of the everyday person.
Nomadland, obviously a big favorite this year. You saw it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, homeless woman after the recession. What other big failures of the Obama's presidency stand out to you?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his foreign policy, but I don't know. That was kind of out of left field.
Once the awards started rolling out, we noticed a couple of interesting picks: best animated feature and best original score. I thought original score was interesting. These two awards went to Soul, and I was talking earlier that Soul, I really enjoyed it. Some people thought that maybe it wasn't quite deserving of best animated film of the year, but I mean, it was the Pixar movie that brought me back after I'd kind of lost interest in all their stuff after like Inside Out, and as far as score goes, I mean, I thought it was fine. Ricky?
I was pretty disappointed that Mortal Kombat didn't win Best Animated Film.
Speaking of score, we talked to our friend John Leon. We actually brought a lot of our previous guests here on the show to kind of talk about how they reacted to some of the Best Picture winners. I think the first one we have is John Leon with Best Original Song.
Hey everybody, Sam asked me if I'd come on and talk about my reactions to one of this year's Oscar categories, but to be perfectly honest, I don't care about the Oscars. I don't like the excessive celebrity worship, I don't like the culture around the Oscars, I don't like the politics that go into whether or not a movie gets nominated, and honestly, an Oscar is a acceptable signifier of a baseline level of quality, but it doesn't really tell me anything about whether or not I'm going to personally like it. So I didn't really pay attention to the Oscars, and I definitely haven't seen a whole bunch of the movies that got nominations. But I guess I liked Her's Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah, so I suppose it deserved to win Best Original Song. Bye.
Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Other things that won that maybe there was a little bit of controversy around was the movie Mank, the Netflix film. It was it was nominated for Best Picture. It won Best Cinematography and Production Design. And overall, I think Mank is a good case of a movie. I've been saying this a lot about Mank. It's not really greater than the sum of its parts. You know what I mean, Ricky? It's kind of it's a really good homage to Citizen Kane. But whenever the best thing you're aiming for is copying someone else, I don't know. It's a great exercise and a really cool biography for this real guy. It made me interested in the behind the scenes story of Citizen Kane, which is a really good movie. But again, it felt like Hollywood kind of being, I don't know, jerking itself off for lack of a better phrasing. But I don't know. What do you think about best production design and cinematography, Ricky?
Well, I think the winner was obvious. It should have been Sound of Metal, of course.
I just finished watching the Oscars, and I was super happy to see Yoon Yo-jong win for Minari. I heard some great things about her acting in an NPR story, so I'm definitely going to check it out.
We were just kind of clowning around outside, getting some B-roll, as I'm sure you'll see. And just by happenstance, this sweet old lady happens to be an actress.
I was in Minari, so okay.
And she gave us a little story with Stephen Yoon. She was just delighted to work with him. Apparently, Stephen Yoon is just an angel to work with. And you know, she was great to talk to. Sam got a good interview with her.
I've always wanted to be in movies and do things, so I started answering casting calls from Freierhofer out of Oklahoma City, and there was one for Minari, and it was in Tulsa, and I live in Weber's Falls, so that was great. I didn't have to go to Oklahoma City, so I answered it. I had no idea anything about the movie at all whatsoever, and it was filmed in Sand Springs, and we got there, and they were so nice. I didn't know who Stephen Young was. I had no idea, and he was the star of it. And I said, and we did one scene. It was a church banquet after church, and he came up to me and he said, "Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. We really appreciate you being here as an extra." And I said, "Well, you're welcome. I enjoyed it." But I had no idea that I was being thanked by the star of the movie for being in his movie. And I was in a church scene, and I sat right behind them on the road, right behind them in church. And so I positioned myself there. I hurried and got that seat. I thought this might be a good place.
Yeah.
And so I sat right behind them. And so in the movie, I was in it then. And then when we came to see the movie, actually, I just went, my jaw just dropped. I go, "Oh my gosh, that's me."
Yeah.
I felt bad because Minari is one of those movies that, I mean, there's so many nominees each year that neither of us got the chance to see that. But being that it was shot partially in Tulsa, and then we got to meet a lady that was involved with it, and just seeing her, we asked her what it would mean to her to see it win and get some awards recognition. And she's like, so much. She's already got posters up and everything. I just thought that was the sweetest thing. And I mean, I'm glad that Minari, I wish that I would have gotten a little bit more recognition. I still need to see it. But it's great that it at least took home something that night.
This is the movie we need right now.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya sweeping in and taking Best Supporting Actor for the win, and I couldn't be happier. Okay, this guy is so freaking talented. I know most of us, myself included, were introduced to his acting potential back in Get Out in 2017, and it was only inevitable for this guy to win an Oscar. I think he's one of the most talented actors in our generation, and I was so happy to see him take home the win.
I really wish that he did not have to go up against his co-star Lakeith, but overall, you know, it is what it is.
No, do you have any big thoughts about Best Supporting Actor? Daniel Kaluuya won. There were a lot of people were worried that he was going to split the vote with Lakeith Stanfield. What does it mean to have the lead character playing a Black Panther, Fred Hampton, be recognized in this category, Ricky?
You know, I know it means a lot for representation. I know that has been a topic of some controversy in the past few years. But just, as just a film goer, I haven't seen this movie, but Daniel Kaluuya, I love him in everything he's been in. Of course, he was great in Get Out, and I saw some of his speech. He's very gracious. I love that little joke he made about his mom and dad. Great.
I think Best Supporting Actor was a long time coming for Daniel Kaluuya, because it was so weird having him pitted against Lakeith Stanfield. And I've talked about it on a previous episode of the show. This was not a supporting role. It was a lead role. He should have been nominated in Best Actor. And I think he probably would have beat Anthony Hopkins in that category. He was really good. But just to see a movie that is about, bringing to light the unfortunate truth about the killing of Fred Hampton, and to see it on, so many people actually take that to heart during a pivotal time for African Americans in American history. I think having Judas and the Black Messiah really be elevated to the forefront is really great, and I'm glad that it was the Black Lives Matter stand-in movie of this Oscars season that won over something like Trial of the Chicago 7, because I think Judas and the Black Messiah is really a standout this year, and I'm glad to see Daniel Kaluuya. Well, he shouldn't have been in this category, but since he was in this category, I'm glad that it went to it.
All that being said, Sound of Metal definitely should have won.
Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down.
It won Best Sound and Best Editing. And obviously, I think it should have won Best Sound, and I think it should have won Best Editing too. Those were the two of the areas in which I think it excelled the most. I mean, I would have picked it for Best Picture if I was going for if I was a voting member of the Academy. Ricky, you've been wanting to talk about it for a while, but what are your thoughts on Sound of Metal, and how do you think it was? Do you think it was appropriately rewarded at the Oscars?
Well, Sound of Metal is a perfect film, and it's my pick for Best Picture. And to be fair, I think it didn't get enough recognition at the Oscars. It only won 2 awards. It should have won 27. But Riz Ahmed, he's a phenomenal actor. He always gives it 110%, even in Rogue One for some reason. But it's just a great character for him to dive into, and a movie I wasn't, I guess, expecting to see whenever I did see it. And yeah, the production quality, the editing, the sound, just the emotion, it's all so visceral and real. It should have won even more awards, as I said.
It's been a very sweet Oscar season for us. If you know, as sweet as M&N. Oh, that's Minari and Nomadland. That's what M&N stands for.
I mean, well, what did win was Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress as well for Frances McDormand in Nomadland. I really liked Nomadland. I think it's a really great, very topical. A lot of these films are very topical, but this one in a different way, where it talks about those class struggles. And it's a sad movie, but it's also a hopeful movie. It is I like whenever movies make me feel things and make me feel about characters or people that I don't know and will never know other than these 2 hours. And this does a really great job of emotionally tying you to Frances McDormand's character. I think she was an understanding win for Best Actress, and the direction I think was fine. It was good. It's hard to give somebody Best Actress without also acknowledging the director's role in creating that performance and helping with that performance. But I don't know, Nomadland is a great film, but whenever you again, Ricky, like you said, when you see it nominated against great films, also like The Sound of Metal, which I really liked, Judas and the Black Messiah, which is really good. I would have probably put Judas and the Black Messiah and The Sound of Metal in the above Nomadland. So to me, Nomadland is at least the third best of all these that are nominated, maybe even lower than that. I mean, it is nice to see Nomadland, something that is about class and class struggles, be acknowledged here at the Academy. But it seems like we're not quite there yet, because there's still I don't know. It's still not Judas and the Black Messiah, and it's still not Sound of Metal.
So I noticed you didn't say that, you didn't mention Nomad unless you say it's probably gonna be.
Yeah.
As
just based on the other awards shows, and it's not to say it's a bad movie, just compared to say The Father, or it's honestly it's lower tier compared to say like The Father, Sound of Metal, Minari. I enjoyed those all more than I did Nomadland.
And I think it is very relevant to people with the whole Amazon angle. You know, we've got the whole union fight going on with them as a company, the minimum wage fight, all that, and I think that's going to resonate with voters.
Those are all great points, Sam, but the only movie that really made noise for me this year was The Sound of Metal. All the other ones really gave me was The Sound of Silence.
Ricky Saucedo. That's our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. On behalf of Ricky Saucedo, I'm Sam Carrico. We'll see you in the next video.
Ricky, you can stop.
What?
You can stop. Let's just get out of here.
What? Why? It's not even over yet.
Who cares? It's just the Oscars. Nobody gives a fuck about this year anyways. It's a fucking pandemic, bro. It's some serious shit going on.
Okay, let me just turn this off. Okay, all right, yeah, all right.
Fuck. Just leave. We'll just half-ass the rest of this video anyways. Who gives a fuck, really?
Oh, honestly. I mean, no one watches your videos anyway.
I mean, shut the fuck. No, it's just nobody gives a fuck about the Oscars, bro. The Oscars are pointless this year.
Right. And Sound of Metal is going to win, so.
Oh, shut the fuck up about Sound of Metal.
Yeah, any category it in. I'm pretty sure it's in every category, right? Sound of Metal.
It's not going to fucking win, bro.
The metal sound. Sound of
Metal sucks.
Yeah, well, these Oscars are the sound of silence.
Get the fuck out of here.
Let's go get drunk.